So do we have to wait for the delay? Can we just go?
Nope, we are going right now.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. We just jumped from JGX versus Oops to Black Omen versus GNX, another Division A match.
Ain't no rest for the wicked. Black Omen is already locked. Oh, they're both locked.
Both sides are locked.
We're just jumping right into this. Let's get to
lobby
it.
leads, so they are launching. All right, as we go into this first drop from the very interesting series of JGX versus Oops, Black Omen being I guess, very similar to JGX. They have a lot of JGX players. Completely different team, I should add, but very similar in terms of overall play style because they have similar players. So I expect to see overall similar strats, probably with more aggression, I would say. Because again, like I just said during the last guys, JDX is known for their trading finesse, and I don't know if Black Omen is quite known for that. They don't have a ton of matches under their belt, but we shall see here as we go in. And we look at Black Omen. They have the Commando 1D, the Mad Cat 1, Black Lantern C, Summoner Prime, Vulcan 5T, Firestarter S, and a Night Gyre Jade Kite. What about GNX?
Let's see. GNX is running an Osiris 4D. Talk about a very unusual light pick. The Black Lantern A, Night Gyre B, Wolfhound 1A, Mad Cat Deathstrike, Vapor Eagle 3, and a Marauder Bounty Hunter 2. And the bulk of their weight is all walking towards Sigma.
And we see off of Black Omen, their Black Lantern, interesting, is 3 medium pulse, 8 micros. And then we see they have kind of a 4-man light wolf pack. 4-man light wolf pack. JGX, as I recall, on this map had only a 3-man wolf pack.
Yep. And
3 PPCs on the Summoner for Ultimate Ghost. We've got 2 PPCs, 3 AC2s on the Jade Kite. And we have 2 Goss, 4 ER Large on the Mad Cat. A much stronger build than it used to be due to Goss being powerful ranged weapons. We see kind of Black Omen taking it slow. GNX already is a 3 cap. And interesting, if you look at GNX, they have a Marauder Bounty Hunter, which is very interesting.
Not a very common pick.
They have a 3-man light pack, and they have 3 caps off the bat, which is great. But Black Omen, I almost said GNX there again. Black Omen has a 4-man light pack. So it's going to be very interesting to see how GNX plays this light fight, basically a light down. And we see GNX here. They have their Deathstrike and their Night Gyre piled up kind of in the side of the map here. Carbon Fire and the Night Gyre, 2 Goss, 2 ER Larges. And then Buster Machine O in the Deathstrike, 6 ER Larges. Fairly unconventional build, I would say. A 6 ER Large Deathstrike. Interesting. But I think Black Omen realizes that GNX is kind of corralled on the back of the map at this point. I don't know if caps are on the priority. They probably should be because I think they realize what's going on, it looks like, at this point. But
the Marauder 2, I mean,
GNX is trading well. It looks like Black Omen is down on percentage so far. At this point, so that Black Omen does have the Commander going back to Gamma. That's a good play.
The Bounty Hunter is in the back, just unable to do anything. He's been out of the fight this whole time.
The Bounty Hunter's 3 large 4 medium too. Yeah, he's struggling to get up there. Unfortunate. He probably should have had another jump jet or 2 on his mech, but that's fine. I don't think it's affecting them that much at the moment. Because as we see, Black Omen is losing the trades. They're actually losing trades by a decent amount. However, Buster Machine did take a big hit, evening out the odds, being one of their main trading mechs with that 6-year large Death Strike. Highly unconventional build, as I said. Black Omen getting that second cap. They've evened it, but GNX is still ahead on caps by a fair bit, although it is 2 caps to 2 caps. Or no, I'm sorry, 3 caps. Yeah. Eplum's barely sliver capped. Okay, so Omen got that 3rd cap. That is what they want. Now, GNX, interesting. We look at the back of the map here behind Epsilon, and they're all pushing around. I'm not sure about this strategy. I don't know what their plan is, but they have Buster Machine in that Death Strike trading like now 1 versus like 3, 1 versus 2, 1 versus 3, and he's getting hammered. He's open CT, as a matter of fact. That is not good.
And GNX is now running to make their move for Gamma. They are sending 2 mechs there.
It seems like GNX is extremely focused on caps, and they have to be because they let their Death Strike get cored out.
I'm just worried about this Osiris.
Commando going to Kappa, going to secure that. That's good.
And GNX is now grabbing Gamma, but with the Commando going towards Kappa, it will still remain a 3 cap.
Percentages are still distinctly in favor of GNX, but the Mad Cap being open is not good.
Oh, Samurai took a PPC and a Goss hit.
A big hits on that Osiris trying to decap.
He's now red both legs.
Because they need to realize that Omen is basically just going to hold this upper area at this point. And we see Omen is actually sending a light pack, Firestarter and Vulcan, back to Gamma to try and retake it.
I'm just worried about this Osiris. It is not a commonly brought light due to just its lack of tankiness. Oh no, Zio's in the Black Lantern going for Sigma. Is he not aware of the 2 mechs right around the corner?
This could be dangerous, but I think he's going to be okay because the Black Lantern's going to be fast enough, and they don't have.
Zio's is going to push. He's going to push the Osiris.
Maybe he's deciding. He's not sure if he wants to push it or not. I think he's utilizing the range of those medium pulses to try and get some chip damage in on that Osiris.
If Zios wants to get a pick, though...
Mad Cat continuing to get hammered, very nearly dead at this point. That's a bad loss for GNX if he should go down.
GNX, though, still has the lead because it is a 2-on-2 cap.
Omen's Lights, not sure whether there's mechs waiting to ambush them. There are mechs coming back to fight them, though. GNX is going to deny them that Gamma cap, it looks like. But GNX is leading on caps, but it's only 2-2 right now. Epsilon uncontested.
They cannot get the Gamma shot, though. They can't stop the cap, and the Lights have to run in.
They're unable to stop it.
They get it at the sliver.
By a tiny, tiny sliver. GNX made it back and are pushing them back. Percents are still in favor of GNX. Interestingly enough, they are still in favor of GNX. However, Omen has the damage well spread amongst all their members. No mechs are critical.
Zios now has
GNX still with that basically dead Death Strike.
Zios with the feint, though, managed to come back and at least turn Sigma yellow. He's not going to stay to fight for the cap, but he did neutralize it.
That's pretty big for Omen to have that cap decapped, and they are now ahead, and the caps are starting to get dire at this point. They're starting. It's 420 to 452.
GNX needs to take back Sigma.
Point where either of these teams have to realize not much is happening. It's going to come down to caps. GNX does get Epsilon.
That's huge.
That's massive. Omen should have been paying attention for that. Now, I don't know if they're going to be able to get Epsilon back from GNX.
All GNX needs to do here...
They need to be watching that Epsilon cap.
All GNX needs to do here is send the Osiris back to get Sigma.
Cap, and then they need to hold. Yep. However, and if we look at the percents, it's not looking good for Omen.
There's a fight going on. There's a fight going on Gamma now.
In that Vulcan, 38%. GRAM in the Mac at 58%. Buster Machine in the Death Strike still has not died. Good conservative play from him because he realizes all he has to do is hold. GNX is very clearly winning at this point in time. Omen needs to pull some sort of push, some sort of pick, something. They're massively
There
behind.
are 4
mechs
Black Omen
basically-
mechs on Gamma compared to the 3 of GNX, and they're just too banged up to push. They will not take the cap.
Omen's percentages, 4 of their mechs are red. 65% of the Firestar, 55 on the Commando. The freshest mech is a 75% Night Gyre. GNX is taking some damage, but if you look at the colors and the numbers, Omen is so far behind actually in damage at this point in time, or health, I should say.
And the first one goes down.
That's a pretty big kill.
Zayas is going to be next as the Wolfpack is trying to push. Oh, they've swapped their sights for the Vulcan.
However, GNX is pushing out into a crossfire. Oh, that Black Lantern's hammered. No, they pushed into a crossfire.
And the Vulcan's going to come out of this alive.
Good.
Oh, Kieran gets halved.
The trash tree on the Firestarter is 1 hit. Zia's in the Black Lantern does go down.
Buster's back to... He's moved up.
GNX is 3 cap. So it's almost over at this point. It is almost entirely over. And, oh, look at that Osiris. This is it. This is GNX's game to win. That Osiris is on Kappa. It's too late. 671 points. About to be a 4 cap in GNX's favor. It is only a matter of time. GNX has not lost a single mech. Omen has lost 3 mechs. Gogio
and Gogio goes down.
Goes down. This might be a 7-0.
Ultimate goes down. Kieran goes down.
This might be a 7-0 in favor of GNX. Very surprising result. Well played from GNX.
Taro might get the Black Lantern.
He may get him.
Oh, I'm not sure he'll be able to. And the Black Lantern is sticked though. He had all of his guns are now gone, and he's just trying to survive.
750 caps. That is
wow.
it. GNX did not lose a single mech. Omen lost almost every mech. A very powerful showing from GNX, despite the fact that the Death Strike took a lot of damage early. And if you look at the damages, G-Ram with that Mad Cat, 565 damage, topping the charts for Omen, and then Kieran Yagami in that Night Gyre, 437. The rest of Omen's damage is thoroughly unimpressive. They had a 4-man light pack and were unable to leverage it in any meaningful way, losing both trades and health and caps. They were losing on every front throughout that game, and then letting GNX cap Epsilon there at that midpoint in that game. That was kind of the deal breaker, to be honest. Samurai and that Osiris only 110 damage, but it didn't matter. Capture time, almost a minute spent on caps. Their light pack, 45 seconds, 40 seconds. Taragato, and the only one on Omen, if we look there, 1 minute and 26 on the caps. And then if we look at the damages, pretty even across the board for GNX. That is to be expected, though, because they have the trader advantage. Omen, going into that drop, needed to realize, okay, guys, we have the light pack advantage, we have the push advantage. They need to leverage that. They did not, and they got out-traded and out-capped, surprisingly enough, by GNX. Very surprising. Very, very well played there to GNX. I would have personally thought taking that back map would have been very detrimental.
I was a bit wary there because GNX had 3 mechs back there at one point. Then they were not in the fight, and yet Black Omen just couldn't capitalize on that. And as
the main thing is just that wolf pack. They had that extra mech in that wolf pack. They needed to leverage it. They did not. Honestly, tactics-wise, there isn't a whole lot to talk about. Omen, I keep tongue-tying these two teams. Omen is they kind of held that G7 building area that you usually see people play around in quick play. And GNX kind of held the back of the map around Epsilon, behind Epsilon, just focusing on the caps. If people are paying attention to what GNX does, they will notice that GNX has a very heavy cap focus in their games. And it's clearly worked out there. They not only out traded and out capped GNX or OMEN despite having one mech down. Very powerful stuff. That was an excellent performance out of GNX.
I was surprised to
At
see
least this
Black
first
Omen
match
not try to press the advantage. It is a bit strange as we just came back from the Oops and JGX match. It is very strange to see two teams that are very content with just trying to trade, and sort of go on the cap ticker compared to the brawl drops that we did just cast before this. Oh, and Black Omen has locked.
Very fast lock, 420 tons.
420 tons, I believe that's fairly light for the River City. No, it's not. This is the map that's short one heavy mech, so maximum is around 465, something like that. Team 1 on River, though, going a Charlie heavy. I believe that's Starport. No, it's not. They're going Kappa Waterside. Is the Black Omen primary pick here?
So I would expect to see a light pack again from Omen. But what I would like them to see is they need to utilize the fact that they have that light pack advantage and be more aggressive. It felt like that last game, they were very passive. It felt like despite having an aggressive advantage on GNX and even trashing their Mad Cat down to almost dead very fast, it felt like they were afraid to be aggressive, is what it felt like.
Yep. Now, Ultimate Ghost and GRAM are seemingly the Black Omen more assault mech traders, so the fact that they're an Alpha Lance leads me to believe that the assault mechs are going to set up Starport. I was wrong before, as these four guys in Charlie, it's probably the two lights and two mediums planning on doing a Waterside Wolfpack. With Trash Tier, I would assume, either in Lower City or on the Citadel. And GNX, if these are the, I'm not gonna speculate on these actually, since I'm not sure if these are their lances or not. But it seems these two teams are both content to trade. Watching back the match now with the MWO comp delay, one thing I didn't realize is, and somebody brought it up in chat actually, Zio's in the Black Lantern. If he chose to fight the Osiris, he may have been able to kill both the Osiris and the Madcap Mark II.
That's exactly right. That is a very good observation because they should have Omen should have realized that they were crushing that Madcon on trades, and then if they had that information relayed to Zayas, he would have been able to make a more informed decision because that Black Lantern crushes that Osiris in a fight. And we both teams locked 415 for GNX, 420 for Omen as we move on to the second game here.
Yep, we are now green to go. Yep, I do hope to see a little more aggro from the wolf pack of GN of not GNX of Black Omen. The GNX wolf pack is more than willing to get into your face.
All right, and as we start off here with Omen, we have Goju and Vulcan, we have Kirin, Nitger, Targato, Commando, Zia's, Black Lantern, Ultimate Ghost, and Iwata 1P, Trash Tier, and the Firestarter 9A, and then Jiram and the Mad Cat 1. So actually a very similar deck as they took last time, but with that second assault. And they do have, let's see, Vulcan, Commando, Black Lantern, Firestarter. So they have that 4-man light pack again.
Yep.
And GNX with the Flea, the Vigo, Wolfhound 1A, Vulcan, Nitger, Annihilator 1P, and Deathstrike. So very similar decks, actually, for both of these teams.
Yep, I believe Buster is still running that 6 ER large Deathstrike.
And as we look,
No,
Omen,
he swapped
looks
it.
to be taking the aggression here and running on to Theta. They have 4 people running on to Theta with a Nitger not far behind, 2 people going Spaceport.
And James Bombed may be running into a death trap here in his fleet. Nope, he is quickly going to turn.
Fast enough to escape.
Yep. He did pop a UAV before he left, but yeah, the Wolfpack will not be following. And yep, we have
Ultimate Ghost and that Annihilator, 5 large and a Goss. That's actually a very powerful build. That's more damage than people are used to from that mech, probably. So from Spaceport, he'll be able to influence large portions of the map. Not too far, because the IS uncorked ER larges don't have quite the range, but still far portions of the map. We see GNX with their bigs in Upper City. The Buster Machine in the Deathstrike is not in 6 ER larges. He's in 2 Goss, 4 mediums, 2 heavy large. So a mid-range alpha, but he's trading at long range. This is dicey. Carbon Fire in the 2 ER large, 2 Goss Nitger from before. Omen has secured a 3 cap. That is good stuff at the moment. We look over by Sigma in the water, and the Flea is making a run for Kappa, it looks like. But Omen has the Commando that just got it. So will he see the Flea or not?
He is entirely submerged, but I wonder if Tarragato's not even looking in that direction. He is more worried about the GNX lights that are and the Annihilator that's currently going across the water. Annihilator is running quad ER peep on the GNX 1P.
And G-Ram and the Mad Cat with his head almost open. His head is almost open. Wow, very impressive. This match has not gone on long. His head is almost open. 2 Goss, 4 large pulse in the Deathstrike. He's a bit out of range, out of his element as well. So both of these teams, Mad Cats, are kind of out of their element. Tekken and Buxton, the Vigo down to 75%, but he's pretty good. G-Ram, not so good. Again, that head almost open. That may prove to be an issue later in the match. His arm about to come off. G-Ram taking huge ticks down to 67%, kind of running in the open, almost getting farmed, very much so. He's very, very in pain.
And
luckily, he's a Goss rifle, but still.
Kirin exposed against the Annihilator and the Vigo at the same time and has quickly gone back in cover. I think he learned his lesson there.
The Vigo's down to 69% though, and pretty hurt. Not great for GNX. G-Ram down to almost 60% in that Mad Cat. Unfortunately, it seems like he's trading out of range.
G-Ram's arm is now open, so that Goss will go at any time now. Just the slightest scratch can crit it out. And GNX is making a play for Theta, but Trash Cheers coming back in the Firestarter in an attempt to deny it. Oh, and Zios goes down from the Annihilator.
He kind of gets picked. Did we see how he died there? He was pretty
I
fresh,
did
wasn't he?
not. Yeah, I believe he wasn't even in the red, so that would lead me to believe that both the Veagle and the Annihilator both got solid shots. But Gogil at 70, no, at 60%.
Or they headshot him. We're not sure. But yeah, Omen or GNX is making a play around this Sigma Kappa side of the Citadel.
Gogil's side is one touch, and as I assume that is the XL Vulcan, he may not be long if somebody can get a solid burn.
So GNX's assault's 90% on the Annihilator. Mad Cat is at 69, but he's still pretty good. Nitro at 82 and Carbon Fire. If they pushed Gamma, that could be game changing because Ultimate goes down to 66% in that Annie, and GRIM in that Mad Cat 51%, missing that arm, critically damaged. If GNX needs to push right now, if they do so, they basically win the game because they're so far ahead on health at this point.
Yeah. Though if GNX gets Theta, they won't even have to push. They'll have the 3 cap, but
Vulcan does go down.
Gogil goes down from the strike, not even from a shot. And Trash Tier in his fire starter. Open everywhere.
Nitro appears to be halved. Omen, a little bit of friendly fire there.
I believe
starter shot the commando. That was interesting.
Yep. I believe it spooked him just a little bit, and GNX now has the 3 cap on Theta. And the caps are not far enough that they can get it.
Omen is critically wounded at this point. Meanwhile, GNX only has a couple mechs that are wounded. It's unfortunate to see these mechs still sitting upper city, playing very passive. Carbon Fire the Nitro, he is low. Open CT 1 hit, but that Death Strike and that Annihilator, they still have armor to spare. And
GRAM and his Mad Cat has lost both of his arms and is now down to quad large pulse, which is still a pretty strong loadout.
Is open in that Mad Cat. I wonder if we'll see it finished off.
Kieran, Yagami, and Trash Tier both desperately trying to hold on to the Citadel, but they are both just
when they're
rush
down
away from death.
Gogil and their light pack, it's going to be incredibly difficult. GNX honestly should push at this point. They need to realize that, listen, they are down 2 mechs. We have a fresh Flea, fresh Annihilator, a couple other mechs that are still good. Collapse on these guys and finish out.
And the lights seem to be going for Starport.
You don't have to, because in GNX fashion, GNX likes to cap. GRAM and that Mad Cat does go down.
Self-destruct.
Torso.
And
in favor of GNX at this point, but they should realize that, yeah, they have the cap advantage, but they could also just close out the game. And GNX is a team who really does like to hold.
Samurai cannot solo poke that Annihilator. He is open CT.
The Annihilator pushing over Theta. The PPC Annihilator, he's extremely fresh at this point still.
Oh, and Ultimate Ghost has a medium pulse mech on both sides going down.
The lights did push from GNX. Excellent. Very good. We finally saw that push to close out the game. And that's pretty much all she wrote. Trash Tier goes down, and it looks like it's going to be a 7-0 in favor of GNX, basically, once again.
Kyojiro in his Annihilator struggling to get up into the city. And he's struggling to find lines as his guns clip on the building on what could have been a kill shot onto Kieran. Commando is down to 46%.
Open on every component, as commandos do. And him and the Nitro are just pinned. Kieran goes down.
It's now the Commando, and Kyojiro gets it.
A 7-0 in favor of
wow.
GNX. Very, very powerful stuff. Well done by GNX. It just, from my perspective here on the caster camera, it looked like they out-traded. And if we look at Omen, look at their Wolfpack. Firestarter, 107. Commando, 81. Vulcan, 31. Black Lantern, 21. They were just running around, basically, like headless chickens, getting farmed by all of GNX's range. GNX sacrificing that extra mech on the light pack to have that extra trader to cover more angles to hit these headless chickens as they run around the map. They need to use their Wolfpack to push a cap, push into the city, push something, anything. Not basically all of them did less than 100 damage. They didn't even really impact anything. The traders on the 2 assault traders on Spaceport for Omen did well, but were out traded because it's basically 2 of them versus 4 of GNX. Very, very powerful stuff. Well, a good damage spread all around for GNX. And that's all she wrote. Again, they're bringing that wolf pack from Omen, but they're not utilizing it. They're basically just running around like headless chickens. It's unfortunate to see. They kind of did the same thing on Grim. It was a little more coordinated, but it seems like the coordination on Omen is not where they want it to be. Again, mentioning with Zia's in that Black Lantern, could have pushed the Osiris, killed him, and then pushed the Mad Cat and killed him, and that would have flipped that whole side of the map.
And now we move on to HPG. This is a very it is a Wolfpack friendly map, but I'm just curious to see if GNX doesn't really need to change what they are doing at all.
GNX is kind of doing what JGX did. JGX played today kind of the same, very same-ish in all the matches to a very significant degree, and it worked out against them because their enemies played basically the same-ish too. GNX, we see their strategy, they're out trading, out capping, out flanking. They're basically out everything, and we're seeing this in the score. A 6-0 on the first one would have been a 7-0 with more time, and a convincing 7-0 on this match. Omen needs to mix it up. This light pack is not working. You can't have 4 mechs on your team not shooting their weapons, just running around like headless chickens, getting clapped by Gauss rifles, PPCs, and ER larges. It's not good stuff. So they need to change what they're doing, or they need to be like, okay, guys, we're going to push them this time.
Let's see. I do hope that Black Omen gets a little more aggro or in their strats. GNX is probably feeling really solid right now. I don't think they have a single. I don't think they have any worries. They have been running the same strats for both matches, and it has worked out splendidly with a 6-0 and then a 7-0 for both of them. Let's see, GNX. I don't think they've arranged their lances yet. Yep, they're now moving everybody into place. So if I pull up the map strat for this, let me find that damn tab. There we go. HPG. So it seems HPG has been fairly cookie cutter for how almost every team has played it. Every team has put at least 2 mechs in Bravo if you're on team 1 to hold the Echo 6 wall, and then have a few mechs holding Spine, and then basically the 3 cap from there. Oops, I'm on the wrong conquest. And then Oops did shake it up a little today by doing a hard rush down the top of the wall like this. And JGX falling back against the back wall. I don't think that's what we're going to see here, but it seems that HBG, the name of the game has just been wall map control every single week.
So honestly, I would expect that from GNX, because that's kind of, they're doing this control cap strat, very reminiscent of how EMP plays, or used to play anyway. And
oh, we do have it confirmed.
Omen needs to mix it up. Omen, I think, is going to push. I think they have to push, because they're kind of doing a control thing with a wolf pack to run around, but it's not working. It hasn't worked in any of these 2 games. It's been largely a complete failure, disastrous failure even, I should say. So they need to mix it up. And on a map like HBG, where it's very easy to like go in the basement, duck in the buildings, duck in between the ramps, Like I mentioned earlier in the JGX cast, 3 out of the 5 caps are completely obscured from any wall vision. I think we're going to see some sort of strat where they push up and try and hold those 3 caps for sure.
I do have it confirmed. Zyos' Black Lantern got killed by a headshot last match from the Annihilator 1P.
Interesting. So GNX landed. They got 1 headshot because that Black Lantern was fairly fresh, as far as I'm aware.
Yep.
And G-Ram in the Mad Cat at the very towards the beginning of the match almost got his head opened, and then it was almost finished off later. So that was a headshot with almost a second headshot. Very scary stuff. GNX's aim on point today, clearly.
And GNX has locked with a Alpha Bravo, more Alpha than Bravo. That is surprising. So it is most likely that they just plan on taking the center with only 2 mechs on the wall. And Black Omen is now getting themselves situated.
So 445 tons out of GNX. I want to say JGX today was 420. I might be mistaken on that, but
yeah, just waiting for Ultimate Ghost to ready up, and then we can jump right into this. All right. It seems Black Omen is locked. Nope, they have not locked yet.
To 450 tons right now. Both sides are locked.
Let's get these logos swapped for different sides. OBS is a pain. There we go. And chat, I did reduce the color saturation by about 1/3. So if there are any more issues, then just feel free to say in chat, and I will get that fixed. Alrighty.
All right. And as we start from GNX, we have a Nitcher, a linebacker Redline, Panther Katana Cat, Corsair 7A, Black Lantern D, Annihilator 1A, and a Flea 17. And then from Black Omen, we have a Summoner Prime, Annihilator 1P, Firestarter A, Black Lantern C, Mad Cat 1, Commando 1D, Nitro J Kai. So a very similar deck to what they've brought before. But they do not have the 4-man light pack anymore. They ditched that. We're glad to see it. They only have a 3-man light pack this time. Regardless, even if the drop circumstances have changed, they don't have another fast mech. But GNX might be pushing. It seems like they're going to try and mix it up with a very heavy push here.
Zyos and Black Omen did make it to the basement before GNX, but GNX isn't even going to challenge it.
Katana Cat on Similai Sonin, or Salonin, I think that's how you say it, has 2 ERPPCs, though. Interesting. I would have expected medium pulse.
Yep. And Terragato in the Commando is about to run to the red line, and he's immediately just going to turn around and bail.
Ooh, almost.
And Terragato's now orange in one leg, red in the other, as the trading on top has started.
That is not good. That is absolutely not good for that Commando.
Yep.
Luckily, it is Commando, but still. Kuren Yagami in that Nitro down to 79%. Meanwhile, GNX barely cracking below 90. GNX is out trading again, Black Omen.
Another Katana Cat on the wall.
Also goes to that Summoner, almost open CT, pretty close.
Yep. Kujiro in the Annihilator, moving up to take more focused shots. He's in the Annihilator 1A instead of the 1P this time.
So interestingly, G-Ram is in the 2 Goss 4-year large Mad Cat. I would have expected on this map you would be 2 Goss 2 large Pulse, and on the river you would be 2 Goss 4-year large. The range on this map are just not that large, especially for a Mad Cat. As you see, he's pushed up here in the middle. He's clearly in large Pulse range to most of their mechs. Carbonfire, though, on that Nitro getting slammed on that back wall down to 70% almost.
Yep, he seems to be the focus of...
He needs to chillax. He needs to stop trading for a little bit.
It's
64%.
It's just him against the Mad Cat, and the Mad Cat is tearing him a new one. G-Ram hasn't even dropped beneath
the Mad Cat having 90% armor and firepower. It's not an even trade. You're going to have an easy time winning. GNX, though, they did have a 3 cap. They lost it. Carbonfire just continually losing health, but
the basement fight seems to be happening.
Kirin Yagami, the Nitro, 63. Black Lando Zia, 70. Targato, 60 in that commando. It's a commando, but still. Celeste Lonan, though, is taking heavy damage down, 70.
Commando's legged! And Targato goes down.
Got caught out.
It was a medium and 2 lights for Black Omen against a medium, a light, an assault, and a heavy.
They pushed GNX pushed down that Corsair into the basement. Scary stuff. And that is a huge loss for Omen at this point.
The commando going down will make it significantly more difficult for Omen to regain the cap advantage. And GNX is just walking out of the basement. They got what they want.
And exactly. And the problem right now is that Omen is down on percents, down a mech. Zia's just about dying. Zia's going down to a flank. This is Omen's game again. Omen just dominating every single engagement.
You mean GNX dominating?
GNX dominating every single engagement that they're taking. Crazy stuff. The coordination, the teamwork.
And Omen is now putting their Nightgear, their Mad Cat, and their Annihilator all into the basement. They're putting all their cards on this.
Open CT. Interesting.
Natrid overheats in the 1P.
Interestingly, the Corsair and the Annihilator are both DACA. Did not mention that, but that is significantly helping GNX's efforts. GNX is playing this map so much better than Omen is. You notice JGX before, they dominated. Oops, what do they dominate them with? DACA.
Golio goes down in his fire starter.
GNX has the DACA. Omen just has Goss ER large. So GNX, so as soon as their lights are losing the fight, the assaults are crushing. Firestarter's going down. Ultimate goes in that Annihilator. Is going down. G-Ram and the Mad Cat and
Natrid's getting surrounded.
And that's all she wrote. It's going to be a 6-1 in favor of GNX again. Ultimate Ghost still sitting on the wall, unable to help his team on a 3 PPC summoner.
And now Samurai is coming in, and the lights are coming in.
Red line with medium pulse should be the red line. Yes, that's correct. 6 medium pulse. GNX, and that's all she wrote. GNX is playing so much better. They're building their decks tailored to the map so much better. Omen took a sniping deck on HPG, a map that is not good for sniping, and they got absolutely punished. However, G-Ram in the Mad Cat, he was doing his job, out-trading very heavily. Targato in the commando, 6 damage. Kirin, 73 damage from a Nitro. That's like 2 alphas. You don't want to see that from one of your traders. That just shows that even if G-Ram was winning, the rest of his team was losing trades. And very even damage numbers from GNX overall.
Yep. Targato in that early trade where the linebacker almost opened his leg in just the first volley. That is not what you want to see from any commando player.
Absolutely not. And like it feels like that time Omen lost in the mech lab. Like they're trying to contest a mid-range map with sniping mechs. Like you can't, that's not how that works. G-Ram was able to do great work farming their traders. He out-traded Carbonfire on that Nitro extensively, and he clearly must have got good shots into the Panther and anything else that tried to trade against him. But it doesn't matter when the rest of GNX is all laser focused on a mid-range push.
Yep.
One sniper mech doesn't stop that.
Yep, and now we are moving on to Alpine Peaks to switch sides. But one thing that I noticed frequently is that Black Omen is targeting the Annihilator first. And I just don't feel like that's a solid way in order to win the fight, because the Annihilator is the tankiest mech and it is pretty much the hardest assault mech to kill in the game. And I feel as if Black Omen just they need to put more of their firepower on the more fragile mechs first. The Nightgear, the linebacker.
Omen doesn't really have a strategy in these games. They don't. It feels like they're taking almost comfort mechs, and they're kind of just they're playing it by ear, is what it feels like. But the problem is they lack in crucial elements. They're lacking coordination in their light pack. They're lacking, foresight into how the match is going. And their traders, I mean, some are doing great, some are not. Like GRAM has done very well consistently every game, but the rest of their guys haven't really as much. There's been some that have, some that haven't. In the River, Ultimate Ghost did good, but it's like it's a mixed bag. It's very mixed signals from this team, and again, we're seeing the Wolfpack falter. We're not seeing much of a coherent strategy. It kind of is like the Oops match, actually, where GNX is taking the place of JGX and Omen is taking the place of Oops, where they're kind of just running around with their heads cut off. You saw that in the River match. You saw that to a degree on the Grim match, and you saw that in this match. Kind of, they're just not really sure what's going on, it seems like. I don't know if that's like a bad scouting, bad comms, but they need to figure it out fast as GNX takes their third match. And a 6-1, a powerful match at that.
Alrighty, let's see where Alpine Peaks takes us here. I'm not expecting a brawl strat. I'm expecting to see, well, pretty much the same of what we've seen before. I'm hoping to see a little more trading from the from the Black Omen mediums. I'm hoping to see that instead of trying to fight in that big push where last match in the basement, they had a Black Lantern, a Firestarter, and a Commando fighting a Flea, a Linebacker, a Corsair, and a Eagle. And that's just not a fight you can win. So I'm hoping to see GNX, their Wolfpack, not GNX, I keep getting these teams mixed up. I'm hoping to see Black Omen's Wolfpack be a little more careful about which fights they choose to win.
Absolutely. And I'd like to see a coherent strategy. Like I said, Black Omen is lacking any sort of clear strategy as far as I can tell. It almost seems like they're banking off of a pure skill win, but that doesn't really much make sense in the context of them and their position in this league and the players they're playing against. They're not playing against pushovers. GNX has gotten significantly better in the past probably year and a half. Everybody knows this. That's why they're in Division A right now, when they were like a Division C at best team maybe a year and a half ago. They've improved significantly. So just thinking you can come in and hard skill these guys, well, that's not really going to work. They play together all the time. They're very in tune with each other. It's like a unit. It's like a unit working together versus a bunch of stragglers. And that's kind of what we saw in the JGX versus Oops game today too. Oops we even in the post-match interview, Conglord was like, we're kind of just doing whatever. We're just trusting people to do that and whatever. And JGX was like, yeah, we're doing this, we're doing that. We know what we're doing. It's like, that's kind of what we're seeing here from GNX and Omen. It's kind of scary stuff, unfortunately. But that's just what happens when you're playing against a team like GNX, who is a very long time experience playing together. Again, they play together in faction play all the time.
Yep.
And
speaking of GNX,
and it's like, you can't underestimate GNX. People, I feel like, are underestimating them, but they can't do it.
Well, GNX has come a very long way. If you go back a year and a half ago, there were a lot of people that were quite frankly looking down on them because of their performance in FP, and now you have GNX who is fielding a Div A comp team. And I think that they have moved very far up in the MWO hierarchy, and they honestly deserve a lot of respect for that.
So as we see here, they're launching a GNX 455 tons, OMEN 430. So GNX does have a bit of a weight advantage. And with them winning their trades, focusing on those heavier trade mechs, we'll probably see that happening again this match. Very interested to see how OMEN is going to reverse this absolute steamroll. All right, and as we start with GNX, we have an Enforcer 4P. Interesting pick there. Rifleman 2C, Kodiak 3, Madcat Deathstrike, Flea 17, their Bounty Hunter that they had on Grim. Interesting, and the Vigo 1.
A Kodiak.
We have G-Ram in that Madcat 1. Again, he seems to like that mech a lot. I don't know if it's working out. Would their team be benefited by a higher DPS mech that can be more aggressive? I think so, but we'll see on Alpine. This might be his time to shine. Rifleman 2C, Hunchback 2CA, Stalker 5S, Vigo 1, Flea 20, and a Virago. So it seems like both teams have very similar strategies in mind.
Kodiak is running Quad Goss.
The Enforcer is 3 ER large. Interesting, and it looks like he's very fast. So it almost... Let's see the Vigo. The Vigo's 4 ER large too, so probably substantially fast as well. It looks like it as they approach the Sigma cap here. It looks like they're quite a bit ahead, and very range-focused depth from GNX, but also some speed. Stalker 6 ER large, as classic. Virago 4 ER large. G-Ram and the Madcat 2 Goss 4 ER large. He likes that thing a lot. And then the Rifleman 2C.
I'm assuming 5 ER large and a T comp on that.
Hunchback 2C is quad ER large from Ziaz.
And Enforcer 4P and Tekkaden are running on top of the hill. Is that an ER large Vapor Eagle?
Yeah, I called that out already. And the Rifleman 2C has 5 ER larges. So very, very ER large heavy comps from both these guys. Kieran Yagami taking some damage down to 85% in the Virago, but Tekken and Bucks kind of in the open here in the Beagle, taking some damage. They're kind of doing a lot of damage here to these GNX mechs that are in the open. So they kind of, the game plan's already been given out, but Kieran Yagami is taking quite a bit of damage. Caps right now are extremely even. Percentages for the most part are even, but Kieran Yagami still getting absolutely hammered in that Virago. A mech that should not be getting hammered as hard with those high mounts.
And GNX, it's not very often you see the entire team go to
Kieran
take this
Yagami
wall.
In that Virago, his right torso's open. It's almost gone. His CT is almost open. He's getting ER large from all the way across the way. Brutal stuff.
His side's almost gone. Oh, but he is now content to sit in cover and wait and wait out the storm.
And then now G-Ram and the Madcat kind of in the open here, being shot from 2 different angles. It seems like GNX has the angles advantage right now. They have those 2 faster ER large mediums, kind of with the big angles advantage. Bounty Hunter's ER large is 2.
Black Omen is now getting Gamma. That will give them the cap lead.
That is very good, but we look at the percentages. If the percentages are pretty even right now, but with a Virago about to be halved, Windscape and the Vigo taking relatively heavy damage, like I feel like it is in favor of GNX at this point in time.
Indeed.
GNX with 3 mechs right above Sigma, getting a really solid crossfire with those 2 mediums and that Marauder, and then they have the Rifleman all the way on the other side. And with the Madcat in the middle. Mad Cat 6ER larges again, Buster Machine in that Death Strike we saw from Grim. So they have very powerful positions. However, they are down on caps.
And
But
I think
if we look at the percents, Kieran is halved, almost dead. Windscape in that vehicle taking heavy damage. G-Ram taking damage too in that Mad Cat. Meanwhile, percents are still looking pretty for GNX. Omen, once again, is getting out-traded.
However, Omen seems to be starting to back off. I think they realize now that with the 3 cap, it's now a time game. However, Windscape and Gogil are fighting against that is James and the Flea and Inosuke and the Rifleman. And Gogil is just going to bail.
Is down to 1 PPC. Windscape is down to 1 PPC.
And he's just getting chipped down.
He's basically dead. Mad Cat has his number. He's in the open against that 6-year large Mad Cat. And that's going to be all she wrote.
Yep. Windscape's just fighting as long as he can to stay alive, at least take up some of that Mad Cat's time, and he's gone.
That is it. So we see the mediums from GNX are pushing up. You see this right here on the left side of the map between Sigma and Kappa are pushing up all the way in front of GNX. This is what, Omen, this is what we want to see. We want to see this push. We want to see this aggression. And this is great stuff. Rifleman, Ultimate goes from the Rifleman. G-Ram and the Mad Cat, 60%. They're both hurting. GNX, only one mech really hurt. Inosuke, a little bit hurt. Not super bad. And Omen is just folding.
Samurai's coming up top. Gets a back shot on Zios.
Oh, this is going to be a slaughter. Zias is completely dominated.
He cannot fight against these guys. And
their team is the Flea 20 from Gojo with any decent amount of health. Look at the health pools. This is an absolute disaster. This is a complete disaster for Omen. Their entire strategies completely failed. Whatever strategy they did have completely collapsed apart by GNX, who are playing like absolute gods at this point in time. Can they be stopped? Will Omen even get a mech off of these guys? I don't think they will. As more mechs continue to fall for Omen, this is an absolute disaster.
Zeos is just hiding at the bottom of the hill, doing his best to stay alive, but now GNX is going to drop on top of him. And he will be dropped soon, as Gogio and the Flea just seems to be running to see if he can get any pick at this point.
Interesting, if you look at Gogio and the Flea, he has a Flea 20. Probably the ECM anticipating Lerms and the 5 medium lasers instead of James bombed in the Flea 17 with the small pulse.
No. Oh, and Gogio's legged.
Oh,
that's
what
it.
A disaster! It's a disaster! Owen is crushed once again. 4 games absolutely slaughtered. No game plan, no strategy, crushed on every front. It's an absolute disaster. I would be entirely rethinking my strategies right now if I was on Omen's side. If we look at the damages, entirely unremarkable, except for G-Ram, again, topping his team in that Mad Cat. GNX with a great spread. Inosuke with the Rifleman with the Crossfire, 598. James bombed, just capping, basically. That's all he needs to be there for, the cap bot. And that's all she wrote.
G-Ram has consistently been scoring the highest on their team, but it's just not enough to pull through.
It is worth noting. It's almost like they need to be putting him in the trader, and then they need to be focusing the rest of their team on other stuff.
All right, and then we are now moving on to drop 5, Tourmaline. Now, Tourmaline is the interesting one of this series in the sense that you are limited to 2 of each weight class, but the weight classes are not outright dictated, and instead it is a tonnage drop with 420 tons, making it typically the lightest drop except for drop 1. Now then, let's Tourmaline's been a bit of a hot topic recently because of the spawn change where, let's pull this up, originally the map. So I feel like the spawn change was much more beneficial to quick play than it was comp, because there were some original spawn points on the old Tourmaline that had left a sour taste in a lot of players' mouths for quick play. Most notably on CSJ Hill, spawning Echo 4, you were very open, very easy to farm, and while in quick play, that spawn was very hated, very much disliked. In comp, it was quite the opposite. I feel like many teams enjoyed having that spawn because it would allow you to just do a full DACA push anytime you wanted to.
And quite on the flip side, the spawn's changing, or on the contrary, I should say, the spawn's changing means it actually changes how the map is played significantly. It mix is a good way to mix up an old map and make it seem new. Very nice. Honestly, if I was Omen, I would be doing something completely different right now. I would just make up something on the fly and run with it, because whatever they're doing, whatever they think they want to do, absolutely does not work. GNX is having none of it, crushing them. It's been a slaughter today. Absolute slaughter. In fact, Oops took more mechs, killed more of JGX's mechs today, despite losing 5-0, than Omen has of GNX's.
Yep, this is. I'm kind of hoping to see Omen try something very just in your face aggro here to see
Like
what they can pull
DACA
up.
push. Don't
Yep.
mimic what Oops did with the laser vomit. That isn't going to work. But maybe some sort of DACA push would be phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, so it seems that, I mean, I was about to do a lance analysis, but the lances don't mean that much anymore. Let's see. Typically, Team 1, if they want to run a trade strat, they have two very strong options, and that is the Echo 3 point here. Come on, give me the right color. There we go. And that is the Echo 3 point here. And then I believe it is here, the Delta 4 channel leading to stage. Team 2 has some very good early scouting spots. Oops, last match, ran 2 lights immediately up these spires to get eyes on the entire map. And then Oops did a push around the outside. And, oh, sorry, excuse me. Black Omen has locked.
Omen is locked at 420.
And I'm wondering if GNX is their mech. Are their mech choices already finalized? Are they going to lock at 390 tons? I think that's the lightest drop 5 I've ever seen.
If they do, there's not many ready up, so we'll see.
right, GNX is now upping their tonnage at 410 instead of the 390, which is much more comparable given the 420 ton limit. Man, I'm going back through the chat logs. I can't remember the last time I've seen an enforcer in comp. It's been a very long time.
Very, very, very many years. Very, very many years.
Yeah, I want to say it was April 2016 that mech got its quirk nerf, and then it was just never seen since. And we are locked and launching on both sides as we enter into drop 5. Will Black Omen change up what they are doing?
All right, as we go into this last drop, I really hope we see something interesting here from Omen, as they've been getting absolutely decimated by GNX, who are playing in tip-top form today. I really do hope we see something interesting from these guys. As we get into the drop, all right, so Omen has a Vapor Eagle 1, Mad Cat 1, Blood Asp Rancor, Flea 20, Black Lantern Belnarius, a Firestarter 9A, and a Nightjar G, or D, excuse me. And then GNX has the Vulcan 5T, the Wolfhound 2, the Nightstar 9J, Light Goss 3 ERPPCs, the Classic, Linebacker Redline with the Medium Pulse, the Black Lantern A, Osiris 40, and the Annihilator 1P. I already don't like Omen's deck. I don't understand the Blood Asp pick. The only reason you should ever play a Blood Asp in competitive is the ECM. That is the only niche.
And yet really the Rancor sacrifices that.
Correct. So if we look at the build, it's 3 Ultra 5s and 2 PPCs, no ECM, no jump jets. I don't understand the point of that. A Mad Cat would just do it better. They have the Mad Cat slot taken up, but they could easily find an alternative. GRAM in the 2 Goss 4 Large Pulse Mad Cat, very solid. Doesn't have as much range. 2 ER PPC, 2 AC10 on the Nightshare. I feel like the 3 AC10, 1 PPC Nightshare we saw JGX play is significantly better.
GNX,
also the Ghost, or JGX, excuse me. Vapor Eagle 1, the 3 ER PPCs, and we see GNX.
4-man Wolfpack for Gamma.
Correct. And we see they're trying to set a trap, it looks like, maybe, with these mechs here in front of Gamma. Like, one dude caps, and the rest all go around to try and catch someone responding. Very interesting play from GNX. Powerful stuff if Omen falls into it, but Omen is kind of dogpiling into the middle.
Omen has decided that their 3 cap will be Theta Epsi Sigma, so they do not feel a need to go to Gamma, so the trap will not be sprung.
However, with that Osiris from Samurai Salonin, I don't think they're going to be able to get Sigma.
He chose to leave the cap, yes. Who's coming here? Yep. Zayas will not be getting Sigma.
So, Omen is kind of playing slow, but they don't have the range again. They're taking these hybrid range, hybrid DPS, whereas GNX is focusing pure DPS, pure range, and we see that with the Nightstar, with the Annihilator. They have the range. And interesting, we see GNX here, they have the 5 light pack.
And Vulcan takes serious damage.
Suki took a massive hit from Omen. That's the type
He's
of stuff
open CT.
Wow, powerful stuff. There's a pretty big fight here, but the Mad Cat and this Black Lantern are outmatched in this engagement. However, the rest of Omen is coming to help, and GNX needs to bail out now, or they're going to get crushed. They need to bail out now. The linebacker red line 68. Oh, the Vulcan 64. They're massively losing percents at this point. They need to bail the fuck out now. Goju and the Black Lantern, though, Zia's in the Firestarter, they are relatively hurt. But GNX now, for the first time in this series, is down significantly on percents.
Omen has the upper hand in both cap and health.
Correct. The linebacker is an open CT, but it is one shot on its left torso. The GNX made a critical misplay there. They thought they could be aggressive, but they didn't have the scouting to realize that Omen was all centered on that stage area. And now I think Omen is going to try and take the fight to them. Because Nitro was mad chat pushing around. They're kind of getting shot in the side by the linebacker, by the Wolfhound, but they realize it. And you have the Black Lantern and the Vulcan on one side, the other two on the other side. The Annihilator pushing up.
Kieran and G-Ram just don't even care. They're just giving their backs to the Wolfhound because there are more pressing targets at hand. But Terragato and the Flea
is massively down on health at this point in time. That put them taking so much damage in that push and getting cornered was very.
GNX has 4 mechs in the red, and yet not a single one has dropped yet.
That is true, and then Gojo is red in that Black Lantern, 51%. Zia is 69 in the Firestarter, Ultimate Ghost, 67, and then G-Ram 70, but GNX is so far down percent, and they're not even up cap.
And James Bond is at 34%.
They're playing a cap deck, but they're not focusing on.
And James Bond goes down.
This actually might be a slaughter in favor of Omen.
It's now Zios against Inosuke, but Inosuke does have Overwatch, but it's not enough to save him.
He had 2 dudes on him, one in the back, one in the front. This is going to be a slaughter, actually, for GNX. Against GNX. This is going to be brutal stuff. They might get a couple mechs, but their light pack overstayed their welcome, got far too aggressive when all they needed to do on the big map like Tourmaline was just focus on caps.
Yep.
And it's cost them. They are hemorrhaging percents off of Omen pretty nicely. We see Omen mechs are getting soft, but
Carbon Fire goes down.
Nightstar, Kyojiru in the Annie, 40%, Crossfire from 3 different angles. This actually might be a reverse 8-0 in favor of Omen.
And the Annihilator is a stick, and he's out of guns, and Omen has a mech, has Buster and the Wolfhound on stage.
Osiris goes down, and that's going to be all
However, GNX has a 3 cap, and they're sending their linebacker to cap Epsi. I think they're just going to take to the hills and try to survive. Because, however,
I don't think that there's not enough time.
Omen still has their Flea, though. Omen still has their Flea and their Firestarter, so
exactly.
I think the cap win still falls to Omen. And Takadan has now revealed to the enemy where he is due to capping Epsilon. But nobody from... Oh. Someone just came off.
Wolfhound's going to get caught out here. He's going to take a torso off.
He's going to get ultimate. I think he's going to get ultimate. He gets it.
He does. Nice. That's a good kill, but it's not enough. The Wolfhound still has some armor, but, I mean, the Blood Asp is not that hurt. He's just hemorrhaging percents at this point, losing his arm. Another big hit, and the Nitro's fresh. It's going to be difficult.
Yep, and Buster's just stuck between a rock and a hard place. He can't run out in the open, or else the Overwatch will gun him down. And then he's faced with a Mad Cat. He's one-touch CT and gone.
That is going to be all she wrote. Wow, the reverse 7-1 from Omen.
Wow.
Impressive stuff. Actually impressive stuff.
Huge turnaround.
I don't think it was because Omen played it well. I believe it was because GNX made the mistake of overcommitting with their light pack. I don't believe G-Ram in that Mac had though 900 damage almost. Very, very good stuff. The rest of the team, not so much. It almost seems like GRAM is carrying these guys to some degree in many respects. Interesting stuff.
The man's numbers are undeniable.
And GNX, I mean, the numbers are pretty middling overall. Nature and the Blood Asp did decently, but GRAM and the Madcap has been kind of the outstanding number this whole series. Yeah, I mean, that's very surprising. That's all she wrote. Like I said, I think really GNX misplayed that rather than Omen playing that particularly well. I would have to say.
Indeed. Though it seems Omen did try to change things up just a little bit with the much more in-your-face aggressive strategy for Tourmaline. A lot more DACA.
I don't feel like they were very aggressive. I do not feel like they were very aggressive at all. They kind of just huddled around stage, and GNX walked their light pack into their assaults and their heavier mechs, to be honest. I do not at all feel like that GNX played that particularly well. They played it safe, not particularly well, and GNX were the ones who made the misplays. I meant to say Omen.
Yep, it was a 4-1 is definitely not what I thought would come from this. But I guess that is the beauty of comp. You get upsets and surprises every match.
I will say, to the credit of Omen, though, they did take that back convincingly. They did claw back that one shred of honor from getting 5-0 decimated.
Alrighty, let's see. It seems they are not hopping over for interviews, so I guess we can call it there.
That will be all she wrote.
Extremely
well played to GNX.
Yep.
They clearly had strategies, they had plans, and they executed them almost flawlessly. That last drop was a mistake, but every other drop was almost, as far as I'm concerned, nearly flawless execution. Yep. Very well done by GNX. Omen needs to go back to the drawing board. They need to look at their strats. They need to look at the way they play together, the coordination, something.
Yep. And thank you for everyone who came to watch. I know today was a little more hectic with the back-to-back comp stream, but I hope you all enjoyed it. All right.
Thanks everybody for watching.
Yep. And with that, we will catch you on the flip side.